Hey guys, Julian here, and today I'm going to be making a black loop style track from scratch. If you want to hear the finished track, you can skip to the timestamp, which is at the top of the description or somewhere in the comments. I'll give you a moment to do that. And yeah, so as usual, you can get the project file and samples and MIDI and presets. Everything that you just heard that I'm about to create in this video is available in the description. And if you're a patron on my Patreon, check that because it's already available. And yeah, let's get started. So, right off the bat, I've got this piano playing sample in front of me. This is something that I recorded, and basically, it's just somebody playing a piano. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to actually get a drum rack, and I'm going to go through here, and we're going to grab a few different chops from this. And the idea here is I'm just looking for cool sounds. I'm not, I don't really have an idea of what I want just yet. I just know if I chop this up, something cool is going to come out. This is the way I try to approach this. It's like, you can't go in and, listen and be like, oh, I'm going to take that piano, and then let's take this piano. And we're going to do all this with it, because what's going to happen if you do that is you're never going to get exactly what you're hearing in your head. But if you just take this and, like I said, do what I'm about to do, which is just grab different pieces and kind of piece them together, then when you go to play with them in your drum rack, you can come up with something. And yeah, I just find it to be a lot more of a fun and a bit more interesting process as well. So let's go through and find some cool chops. Sometimes, you just got to go in and do a little bit of... There we go. Again, just anything that sounds cool. That totally works, that little piece. Take it and kind of drag it forward a little. Get a little bit of that. All right, and then we'll just grab a few more here. You don't really need a whole lot of them. Typically, I always grab, more than I need, but it's always good to have more than you need, versus not enough. Okay, cool. So let's get rid of that now. Cool. So now we have all these little chops here. I'm going to do this. I'm going to click this gate here. So this just makes it so the trigger mode is where you hit it, and it just plays through. The gate mode is where you hit it, and then as soon as you let go, it stops. I'm going to do that, and then we're going to right click and then hit copy value to siblings. So now all of these are on the same thing. It just makes it a little bit easier to work with like chopping it up so that you don't just have it like ringing out every single time that you play the sample. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try pitching this all down a little bit. Let's put this all down -2, and then we can do same thing, copy value to siblings, and then it will just... And you can see how the creativity starts to come from this. But cool. So now we're actually going to leave that as it is. And I'm going to set up the drums. So I like to have like a beat going when I actually like chop up these samples or like actually like kind of program it, you know? So what I'll usually do is just get like some simple drums going. We'll use the drums that I have for this video. We got kick. This is usually the type of kick that you want with the style, like a very fat and sort of bassy kick. And we'll just do quarter notes with that. And then once we have a little bit of a beat in here, it's going to be easier to, I think, actually write like some cool chops over it. Let's also take this down to like, let's do 121. I'll put a little bit of drum bass on that kick. Alright, there we go. And then we can get some more drums from there. We use like this hi-hat on the upbeats. That works pretty well. And then we'll get the clap. With this style, you know, this is the type of clap you want, like, very mid-rangey, you know, it's just got that nice, like, to it. And then we just put that on the 2 and 4. Nice. And then I'll throw in these shakers as well. We'll put those in their own drum rack. And we can just do, like, not too much with these, you know. You typically, like, I find, wouldn't want, like, a whole long, like, in the background. But you could just do like a little bit of extra notes here and there, like I'm going to do. And it'll fit pretty well, like something like this. There we go. Now that's just really simple and in the background. Cool. And then I'm going to mix these a little as well. We'll just put those all in a group. A little bit of drum bass on the group. And now we have a pretty solid little beat to actually build these chops over. And not just have it be like kind of on its own. So cool. Let's go back in here now and I'm going to make a little mini clip on the drum rack. And we'll just start writing these out and see what happens. That's cool. And you can see it's not just like me making like this super like the type of rhythm, like, we could do like this, and it wouldn't sound as fluid. Like, that sounds kind of cool, but you notice if you just let these ring out, and kind of let the song play for you, you get a little bit more vibe and kind of just extra stuff that's happening between the spaces, which I think really helps. Alright, so there's a cool little vibe. Maybe I kind of just want to try playing around with what this starts with here. Let's try one of these chops that I haven't used yet. What you can also do is just kind of like put it in the sequence. And then we can just like drag this around until we find a cool note for it. Alright, and then I'm just going to change around that, and we're going to put that there. And we're just going to find a cool phrase to use there instead of this one. There we go. So there we go. And again, like you can see, it's just so much more of a fluid process this way than if we just like tried to listen to the track and like find these different things. This way, I'm finding cool things throughout the track, but then it all really comes together like in the process. And I just find this way that it's a lot better. It's just so much better because you're not trying to make the machine, or like in this case, the computer, you're not trying to make the computer work like to what you want. You're kind of working with what the computer is telling you it's going to do. And then just turning something dope out of that. So cool. From there, I'm going to actually go ahead and high pass this. Let's put an EQ on here. We'll just cut out some low because you can probably hear the bass line. That sounds good. And then I'm going to put a low pass on it. And with the low pass, we're going to have it like there. And then we're going to just put an LFO on here. Just moving slowly. So this way the sample's kind of moving like this. I'm going to turn this fade in up like a tiny bit as well on this one. So we're not getting that click, and then we'll just copy that. All right, sounds good. Now let's get a saturator on here. I'm going to just beef it up a little. Sounds good. I actually think I'm going to replace that with drum bus. Cool, let's also sidechain this to the kick a little bit. Alright, cool. So we got a pretty nice little vibe going now. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the bass, and there's a few different ways that we can make the bass. The first way that would be pretty simple, and I'm actually going to try this. I think this is going to help us to write our own bass line. But it would be to just take the sample, like exactly how it is. I literally just duplicated it. And then what we'll do is we get rid of the high pass filter, and then I'll keep this stuff on. And then the low pass, we'll just bring it down to there. We have a pretty cool bass line. Now, this lines up pretty well with the sample, but you can hear it's a little bit wonky. In terms of bass notes, like some of them are really good and some of them are just kind of weird. So I'm going to write my own bass line, but we're going to use this to help us find some of the notes. So what I'm going to do is I've just got an operator here, and I'm going to just listen to this. All right, so that'll be that note. right, that's cool. So yeah, again, we just want like a really simple bass line. You know, it's not gonna be too much complicated stuff with the style because really the main thing here is still that sample. You know, if you don't get that right, and if you have this in the way of that, it's still like not gonna work that well. But this way, we have a bass line which is really like just kind of tucked away underneath that. So cool. Let's pitch this all down a little. And then I'll mix this a little bit with the kick. For the sound, I'm just going to use a saw wave low pass. You can hear, you get like this very warm and fat bass, but it still got some harmonic content to it. We'll put a bit of saturation on that. And then we'll also side chain it to the kick. I'm just going to copy the side chain from the sample. All right, sounds nice. Then we'll group these two together. I'll put some drum bus on the group. Cool, nice little groove we got going here. Let's EQ the low end a bit. Alright, cool. Just checking how it sounds on my monitors. Sounds nice. Now, I'm going to fill this out with something that we need. I'm going to grab, actually, from my other Black Loops tutorial files, I'm going to grab this one little, like, vinyl noise in here. We'll just show that in the background really quick as well. Which you can hear what that adds. And why we need that. And we'll sidechain that just a little bit too. We'll copy the sidechain. Alright, nice. I'm going to layer this hi-hat. I'm going to grab one of these other ones I have. And we'll put that with it, I think. Yeah, now it's a little bit more full. I also have this open hi-hat, which I'll bring that in now. We're not going to have that in every part of the track. This is just like a little, short little open hi-hat like that. That's going to come in maybe like in the main sort of drop type of part, you know. But we'll keep it in here for now. Alright, sounds good. I'm also going to get some strings here. Like, maybe we could just use this legato one. These are just going to do something a little bit extra on top of this. Like, it's not going to be doing a whole lot of stuff. Obviously, we don't want it to take up too much space. But I think we just need, like, something a little bit extra. Nice. Okay, yeah, that'll just come in like here and there. We won't have that throughout the whole track. I'm gonna put a bit of reverb on this, and we'll drum bus it as well, which is actually gonna help to bring out the reverb. Let's cut out some low end. And we'll also get that side chain a little bit with the side chain, which we're going to copy. There we go. Maybe I'll experiment with making it like this way though. No, I think I liked it the other way actually, even if it was a little bit fast. Even though it's like kind of like, I like how that kind of just rides with the sample. Let's turn up the attack a bit. There we go, now it's a bit more natural. Alright, just monitor checking it. Cool, sounds pretty nice. So at this stage, we have a pretty solid little track here. I'm going to name this low end, and we'll name this percussion. And then what I'm going to do next is we're going to just grab everything and we're going to select it all, cut it, and then we're just going to paste it here. So what we're going to do now is we are going to start the track. So to start the track, I'm going to get the drums. However, it's only going to be a kick. And then this hi-hat that I made by layering. And then the clap. And we'll also grab the vinyl noise. We will have the shakers start coming in there. Yeah, let's do like that. And then we're just going to start like bringing the sample in, but kind of teasing it. You know, we're not using the whole thing. I just chop parts of it out. We'll get a low pass on there, and we'll just have that like really subtly going up here. And this way we're not giving away the whole thing. All right, and then that's the part where we'll have the full thing come in, And then what I'm going to do here is we're going to have the drums still playing, but now the kick and all that is going to be high pass. So we'll have like this little thing basically where it's going to be like. All right, and then we'll dive right in the next part with this stuff. So we got the kick and bass line and the drums, and then the sample will be in there as well. Oh, we gotta get the final noise too. You see, like the high end from that adds kind of like some energy, actually. And there we go. Now we've got a nice, cool, simple house groove here. And after that, a bigger hi-hat will come in. Cool, and then let's duplicate this stuff over to here. I think I'll also give that a little high pass. For the bass. Actually, no, we won't. And then we can filter the sample down a bit in this part. Let the strings and the bass line shine. Cool. All right. So now we got a pretty nice little arrangement here. And you can see, it's not hard. You just have to get started and just kind of like push yourself to get going with it. It's like a lot of times I know people, it seems very difficult to just get started with the track. Like if you have a whole arrangement staring you in the face in front of you, it can seem really hard to just make that first step to push. Where you can see all I had to do was just grab the drums. And just through that, all this cool stuff came to me. It's like you have to get started. You can't just wait for it to come to you, or you can't wait for like the idea to come to you. You have to just kind of start and then like see what comes from that. It's kind of the same process as I was using with the sample. Cool. So then after that part, I'm gonna grab this stuff and we're gonna do another one of these. Well, that filter going back up. And then I'm going to add in one more new element here, which is going to be, we're going to grab that last hi-hat that we didn't use. Pretty sure it was that one. And we're just going to do like a underneath all of this. Which I was saying earlier, I know, not to like just do that. But at this stage in the track, it works. It's just, you don't want that to be the only thing, Like if we didn't have these going over top of it, then this wouldn't be working as well. And then we'll have past the kick in that last part. Keep the bass going there. Because you have like the sample moving a lot, but then the bass line, it's just kind of like, burr, burr, burr. It's like the contrast of those two elements, I think, works really well. And then here, we're also going to grab the strings. And I'm going to do that same thing that I did before that I ended up changing. Except Yeah, we're gonna do it like this. Maybe we could even add like a higher note. Cool, nice one. So now we've got a pretty nice little arrangement here. Again, you can see like not hard to do. Just got to get yourself started and just got to get creative with it. So at this stage, I'm going to take a little bit of time and just kind of mix the track down. I typically like to check it on not just headphones, but also on monitors. Because the thing is, it's like, if you only make a track on one thing, like if you only make a track on headphones, or if you only make a track on monitors, or if you only make it on car speakers for that matter, or phone speaker, whatever it could be, your laptop speakers, you're only going to know what it sounds like on that system. Versus, like, if you take a chance to kind of, like, sit back and listen to it on the monitors and the headphones, maybe you might want to also check it on, like, car speakers or something like that. You actually know what the track sounds like comprehensively, as opposed to, like I said, just knowing what it sounds like on that one thing. So I'm going to take a little bit of time here, just do a quick mix down on the monitors. Okay, cool. So simple stuff there, like you can see, I just did a little bit of like cutting up some low end on the hi-hats, making sure those were all clean. We also took the kick, and I actually duplicated the kick for these filtered parts because one thing you'll notice, you can probably hear this if you're listening on headphones right now. Hear how when the main kick is high passed, we get that little like, and also like the I was trying to get rid of that, so what I did was I just duplicated it. Made the exact same kick, it's at the same level, same everything. But then when it's high pass, the kick is just way shorter. So now you get like... Yeah, still a kick in there, but it's not going to have all that was in there before. And again, this is why you do it on monitors and headphones, is because I did this on the monitors, but I'm hearing stuff that I didn't hear on the monitors when I'm doing it on the headphones now. So it's like, yeah. And then other than that, just simple stuff like kind of mixing the strings a little bit. I took the vinyl noise as well, and what I did was I put a low pass on there, which is moving with this LFO, very similar to the one that is on the sample, where like now it's just going to be slowly moving throughout the track. And you can hear it gives it kind of a more like evolving feel. And it also helps to keep it interesting too. It's one of those subtle things where like when you're hearing this and you don't really know what you're hearing, you hear that throughout the track and it gives your brain something that's constantly changing, It gives it like, so when you have this very like repetitive and loopy music, you'll have something there in the background that's changing and still sort of like fooling the brain in that way. I'm going to change the color of these as well. This is something I like to do for workflow. Like whenever you have a clip that is doing something different from another part in like that track, like here, for example, is doing that there and then that there, or that there and then that there. I always like to change the color of, like, have them just be different colors, because this way it's very easy for me to go through and see. Like, say later, if I was going to expand this even more, I wanted this mini clip easier, I could just grab it. And there it is. It's a lot easier to find than, like, trying to go through a sea of brown mini clips. But cool. So then the last thing to do for the mix down here would be to go to the loudest part, which is about here. And we're just going to select everything and turn it down a little bit. Until the master's hitting about -5. And we'll go a little bit lower. Alright, there we go. So between -5 and -6 is good. But cool, this is where you want to be before mastering, because you need what's called headroom. Essentially, headroom is room below 0 dB. Like, if you look at this, we have 6 dB of headroom right now, basically. It's that space. And the reason why this is important is because mastering, we're going to do some things that are going to make it a little bit louder. And so if you don't have that space, you don't really have space to work with it there, and you're going to run into problems. But cool. So first thing we're going to do is I'm going to get an EQ8, and we're going to turn the gain down that's on the master, and we're just going to boost the high end and then boost the low end. And then I'll do a little bit of a low mid-range cut about there. I've been trying to do about 300, because I feel like 250 is a little bit too low. Like, there tends to still be a little bit of punch in the kick there. But at 300, if you just do that little cut, it opens it up. So here's without this. And then with it, you can hear this just kind of like focuses the track. It's like it's boosting the low end, boosting the high end, kind of bringing out the two sort of quote unquote main ranges. Like with house music like this, the low end and the high end are the two things that you want to be the loudest. And then this little low mid range cut here, it's just cutting out some mud. So if I turn that off, I'll just turn it off and on again. Here's without it. And then with it, you can hear like, it just helps to sort of open up the mix a bit. From there, we're going to get some saturation. I'm going to turn the drive up. Let's do actually a bit. I'm going to do like +5. And then we'll put the output down -3. Here's without this. And then with it. So you can hear what this is doing is it's really gluing the tracks together. Yeah, it's taking those boosts that we just did with the EQ and making those ranges even stronger. And then just gluing the whole thing overall together. It's the very same thing as like what we did on the low end group where I've got drum bus on there kind of gluing the kick to the bass. Same deal here. This is gluing everything together. From there, I'm going to do a little bit of compression. We're going to turn off the makeup gain, and then we're going to turn the threshold down a little. Not a whole lot, but just to like there. And then we'll turn the attack up a little bit as well so that we don't mess up any of the transients on the drums or anything. Cool, so here's without this. And then with it. You can hear this is just kind of like balancing the mix out a little bit more, kind of bringing everything to a more even place. And yeah, and the thing with the attack on the compressor is like, this is really important for mastering compression because with mastering compression, you need it to be really transparent. And by that, I mean like, it's not really obvious that it's being compressed. It's just kind of like, again, evening and balancing out the mix. So the attack is really good for this because it essentially says how long it's going to take for the compression to kick in. If we look at this drum rack here, like, see how if I turn up this fade in on the sample here, see how it kind of like goes in like on the sample? Like it doesn't just start at the beginning now, it goes like in like that. That's the exact same thing that the attack on the compressor is doing, where it's just kind of like making it so it comes in a little bit later. And yeah, and then the last thing we're going to do here is I'm going to get a limiter on this. And we're going to boost this so that right now, we're not hitting 0 dB. We're going to push it so we're hitting 0 dB. So let's do like 3.5. Now it's hitting 0, and we're going to push it a little bit from there. Like that much is good. With this style, it's not usually as much as like techno or something like that. But yeah, so the limiter is just to turn the gain up and then give it that little bit of boost. I found that like when you're mastering with reference tracks, a lot of times like tracks in this style, and really just any kind of like professional quote unquote dance music, if you just bring it up so it's hitting 0 dB like I was saying, it's just not going to be hitting quite hard enough, so you need to push it a little. So that's what pushing it up to 5.5 does. It just gives it that little extra push. Again, here is like what it's doing. Here's before this little push. And then with it. So you can hear how it's essential to just get that last little bit of punch. And if you listen to your tracks, again, against reference tracks in this style, you'll find that, like, if you don't push this limiter, you're just not going to get that same loudness. Cool. So there we are. We've gone from a blank project file to a pretty finished, mastered track. Let's listen to the full thing from start to finish. I mixed it. Awesome. So there it is. We went from a blank project file to a finished master track. So that was me for this one, guys. As always, I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like this video as well as subscribe, and let me know what you think of this video in the comments. Like I said in the beginning, you can get the full project file and samples and MIDI and presets. Everything that you just heard in this video is available in the description right at the top. Can't miss it. Definitely go check that out on my Bandcamp. If you're a patron on my Patreon, check there because it's already available. And yeah, thank you so much, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow with another video.